Let me move on to lesson 31, in which Ross introduces the hafal. The hafal is the counterpart to the hifil. It'll basically be the passive of whatever the meaning is in hifil. As far as forms, here you have the third common masculine singular perfect. That would be hof kad. There's a typo here. It should be a dalet rather than a final kaf. Anyway, pakad means to appoint. Hof kad would mean he was caused to be appointed. The imperfect would be yofkad, and then the same form with a vav consecutive. The jussive is the same as the imperfect, yofkad. Coordinative would be yofkada, afkadav, first common plural in coordinative. Participle has a prefix mem. Get mofkad with a long a vowel here as opposed to the patah short a in the other forms. And then you get hofkad in the infinitive construct, hofkade in the infinitive absolute. So Ross makes a few observations here. The perfect is going to have a prefix he, pointed with a kamatz hatuf, the o vowel kamatz, whereas the theme vowel is typically patach, the short a vowel. The imperfect, the preterite, and the jussive, the vocalization of the U-class prefix vowel plus A-class theme vowel distinguishes the imperfect. The imperative, as with the pual, the hafal does not have a imperative form because the stem is passive and it doesn't make much logical sense to have an imperative. Then the participle, prefix mem, vocalized with a kamatz hatuf, but then the theme vowel will be the long a kamatz, regular a vowel kamatz, and the infinitive construct, infinitive absolute. They are rare forms. When they occur, there would be a distinction between the two. And so he gives you the paradigm of all the individual forms for the paradigm model verb patach. And again, I notice another typo here. That should be a tav at the end rather than a patach, or rather than a hey with a mapik in it. So let me report a typo here. This form shows up as that form, but it should be this form instead. So how does one translate a hafal? The hafal represents the passive voice of whatever the hifil meaning is. So if you have zakar, he remembered in the cow. In the hifil, he's kir, it would mean he reminded. But then the hafal would mean he was reminded. Or malak, he reigned. The hifil would mean himlik, he enthroned, he caused someone to reign. But then the hafal, homlak, would be he was caused to reign, he was made king, he was enthroned. The following translations show how the hafal differs from the hifil. So he enthroned someone would be the hifil of malak. The hafal would mean he was enthroned. The imperfect, yimlik, he will enthrone. Yomlak would be he will be enthroned. Vayalek, and he enthroned. and by Yom Lak, and he was enthroned, on down the list. Let him enthrone, let him be enthroned. Coordinatives don't usually get that in the hafal. Imperatives you don't get in the hafal. Participles, enthroning someone or something as opposed to enthroned one. And again, the infinitive, to enthrone versus to be enthroned, and you can intensify the verb with the infinitive absolute in either case. Vocabulary is pretty straightforward. So you have mashal, to rule, to have domination. The hifio would mean to cause someone or something to rule, to exercise dominion. Katsar means to reap or to harvest. It could be used in the hifio, but he doesn't list that as a separate thing. He gives you some other nouns. You have ot, spelled two different ways, either defectively or plane, with the vowel letter. Means a sign or a pledge, not to be confused with direct object marker et, or with the preposition et. And then you have zera, seed, often used in the sense of Abraham's seed, meaning Abraham's offspring. It can be used of the male semen, as well as seeds of plants. And then you have homa, which is wall. Always try to remember that if in baseball, if they hit the ball over the wall, then it's a homa. That helps. Use it. If not, come up with your own mnemonic. And then you have na'al, sandal or shoe. You have zaphon. Zaphon is actually a place up in Syria, Mount Zaphon, but it's also used as a word for the north, Zaphon. That's the more common usage. And then rohav is breadth or width. And then shir is song. And one other form, ba'ad, means away from or behind or on behalf of. It's actually preposition ba plus preposition ad combined with each other, ba'ad. Ad meaning until, but ba'ad together comes to be used idiomatically, away from, behind, or on behalf of. As far as translation, you should translate into Hebrew different forms, emphasizing the hafal forms. And then there'll be translation work where you'll translate into English, parse any forms that you find. And one of those, at least, is from a specific biblical text. For the rest of this video, let's do some drilling on forms from Clemens. This is section 31.1, Parse and Translate. Begins with the hilvisha, prefix he with a hirik yod in the middle. That is a hifial perfect with the kamatz he ending, third feminine singular. She clothed someone or something. Number 2, yishamadu, from shamad to, in the, first of all, the form has a prefix yod, that makes it an imperfect. Note the dagesh in the sheen, that indicates that that's an assimilated noon, making this a nifal form. And the u ending with the prefix yod makes it a third masculine plural. They will be destroyed. They will be destroyed, from shamad. And then you have nastirehu with a prefix noun with a patah under it and a hirik yod in the middle. That indicates that that is a hifial imperfect first common plural. Then the ehu at the end is the third masculine singular suffix. And satar means, in the hifial, means to hide someone or something. We will hide him. Number 4, you have ve hoshlakta. The accent appears to be on the last syllable, which means this should be interpreted as a vav consecutive form plus a hosh here is, that's a kamatz hatuf, should be pronounced an o vowel. That's your hafal. And then shalak in the hifial means to throw or cast. And so ta would be a second masculine singular perfect. And you will be cast or thrown. Probably in the sense that you'll be cast away or thrown away. And then number 5, hagdila. And that would be a prefix aleph, hirik yod in the middle, patah under the preformative. That indicates that it is a hifial, kamatz at the end, coordinative, first common singular. Let me magnify, let me make something great. And then number 6, vayashbah. That begins with a vav consecutive plus a with a patah under the preformative yod. That would indicate it's a hifial imperfect third masculine singular, or you could say preterite, but it would be either, depending on how you understand it, a converted imperfect or a preterite form. Shabbat means to swear, and so this would mean, and he caused to swear, in the sense that he bound him by oath. Number 7, mashchitim. It has a prefix mem, which indicates it's a participle. The root is shachat. Hirik yod in the middle and the patah under the mem indicates that this is a hifial form, hifial participle. Hirik yod men, masculine plural, or you could say masculine plural absolute, since it's not a construct form. Shachat in the hifial means to corrupt or destroy, and so these would be destroyers. Number 8, luvashu. It's from the root lavash, which means to wear in the cow, but it has a kibbutz under the lamed, which is a sign of the pual. There's a doubling of the middle consonant, another sign of the pual or pl or hithpael. It's a double stam. So it's a pual perfect third common plural. They were clothed. PL is to clothe someone or something, and this would be passive. They were clothed. Number 9, takdishi. Preformative tav with a patah and a hirik yod in the middle, indicating hifial. Be hifial imperfect, second feminine singular with that hirik yod at the end. And so that kadosh means to be holy. The hifial would mean to consecrate or the like, and or to sanctify. You will sanctify. And then number 10, hishama'ah, that's the object suffix, a nifal infinitive construct, her being heard.